Hello, good evening, and welcome to our Friday Beacon of Hope program. We welcome everybody. We welcome each one of you, those who are joining us now, those who will watch the program later, those who are joining us on Facebook, welcome. Those who are joining us on YouTube, Beacon of Hope Beacon, you are most welcome. And can I kindly ask each one of you, as you join, kindly share, invite people. This is your show. This is your program where we come, we inspire, we teach, we motivate different people, and we share different topics. And tonight, I think I've told people tonight, I am excited. I'm sharing as I speak. That is why you see me looking down. It's unlike me, because I would like as many people to hear what we have tonight. So I would like to request everybody kindly, that's what I'm doing. Share, invite people. Yes, let's get as many people as possible viewing tonight, because I can assure you that you'll be in for a treat. The guys I have tonight are loaded. They want to share. They want to empty themselves. They want people to know what goes on behind the curtains, what we did not know, what we should know as parents in diaspora. And so I'm also excited. I'm looking forward. I'm excited as much as most of you are. That's me sharing. So here we are. And once again, it's Beacon of Hope Beacon, our weekly program where we come, where we share, where we motivate, where we inspire people. And I know tonight, because we haven't hosted young men, I've been challenged. I've been told, Counselor, every time you come here, you are only hosting girls, women. What's happening to our young men? And here we are. So it's your time now. It's your time. You asked for it. And here they are. I've got the young men, and they are ready and raring to go. They are loaded. They've got so much to share. Somebody made a joke when I hosted the girls and said, you're only hosting these girls. Who will marry your girls if you're just hiding the young men? And here they are. I'm exposing my sons. Here they are. And they're here to share, their life experiences. But just before we go to that, and I can see people have started sharing, people have started joining. That is what I want. And please even share on Facebook, on YouTube, Beacon of Hope Beacon, just before we continue. Our sponsors. I did say last weekend, thank you so much to those who have been in touch with Almond Estate Company Limited. Almond Estate Company Limited is a company that sells property, that sells houses at home, that sells land at home. And I can assure you that this is one of the most reliable companies that I have seen. Are you looking to buy a property, your own, your parents', your retirement area, or maybe just a holiday home or part of an investment? Don't look any further. Almond Estate Company Limited have got what it takes, and they are excellent. Their rates and everything. First of all, we've got Ada Gardens. What does the word Ada mean? Ada, like I said, is a Hebrew word meaning ornament. An ornament, something precious, something beautiful. And this is a piece of land which is in Isinya, 17 kilometers from Kiserian. Most of you know that place. And look at their rate. It's an eighth of an acre plot. And there are different ways of payment. You can pay cash, which is 750 Kenya shillings, 750,000 Kenya shillings, or you can pay in 24 monthly installments. And you know what? They are also offering finances. You can talk to them on 254-733-874-080. And I said last time, this is not all. These guys have got so much for us. They've got so much. They're offering so much. Then we've got apartments. I'm really excited with these apartments, because with as little as 1.8 M, you can get your own build. You can get your own property. With as little as 1.8, you can have a studio flat. And why not, especially the young people, and even us, just for holiday or maybe renting. This is a tip that I'm giving you. You can purchase that and then you rent it, and you have an extra source of income. So this Almond Kitsuru Heights Phase 2, Phase 1 is already gone. sold completely, gone kabisa, kaput. This is in Kivishiku, 17 kilometers, about 15, 20, not kilometers, about 15, 20 minutes to drive from CBD. So it is just within the central part of Nairobi. And it's a new upcoming development with all the features that we look for. It's very, very spacious rooms. There's ample parking. There's an elevator, don't complain. And more so, we think of security, and especially us in diaspora, there's CCTV surveillance within there. So you've got studio flats, you've got 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. Yes, get in touch. And with as little as 1.8 M, you can get your own studio flat, and then you can maybe think of a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. And I can tell you that I've got my statistics, I've got the figures here. Most of them are already booked. So please do not miss out. Do not miss out. Yes, do not miss out. Don't say I never said it. I'm telling you right now, you don't need. And then finally, we've got the bungalows. That is my beat. Because at my age, I think I would like something that is more, And look at these bungalows. 3-bedroom. 3-bedroom bungalows, and 2 of them are in suites, just when you have your family or friends coming to visit you. This is a gated community with a perimeter wall. You've got your own compound, spacious, well-lit rooms, lots of light, and then adequate water supply. That's very important. Cleanliness and secondless to God. And then there is touching the tarmac road. And then we've got 24/7 manned CCTV with CCTV. Wow, can it get better? Look. And these bungalows are going for 5.75 million, 5.7. But there is a cash offer, which is just about to end. If you pay cash, you pay 4.95 M. See that deal? Please mention my name and you get that deal. Mention my name and get that deal. I'm going to talk to them and see whether we can slightly extend this. I know when we get our money. And then if you mention that you had it on Beacon of Hope, you will get that offer, which is, how can you compare that? And for all this, if you want any of our properties, get in touch with +254 733 874080. +254 733 874080. So all these and many others, they are all under Armored Estate Company Limited, and that's in Nairobi. And now for further details, if you want to know more, just get in touch with me and I'm going to direct you. And when you purchase, when you ask for any one of them, just mention that you saw this on Beacon of Hope and you get a discount. Yes, a discount just because you mentioned my name. Wow. So, here we are. Beacon of Hope. Yes. Friday special edition. I can see people have started arriving. Suwakuria, you say, I am here. Yes. The boy child is here. We want to hear what they have to tell us. Welcome, everybody. Welcome once again. And like I said our topic tonight is Kenyan Diaspora Young Men Talk. Yes, Kenyan Diaspora Young Men Talk. They want to tell us, I don't know what they have to tell us, but I've given them the platform. I want them to come and tell us what it is that we are not doing, where we are failing, all those issues. I don't know whether they've got any complaints. Maybe it will just be good things. Yes, I can see Chairman Lucas is here. Yes, invite. I can see Dr. Dama looking good, ma'am. Yes, Lucas saying, tumeingia, ha. And then Suwakulia is saying, tuned Leona watch via YouTube. Amen. Well done. God bless you. We love that. And please, those of you watching on YouTube, kindly subscribe. We want to get more of you. We want to have more subscribers. And without much further ado, I said today, I think I'll sit back. All I'll do is ask questions, because don't forget, I'm a mother of a son. And so it's my joy, it's my pride to host these young men who have grown up in the diaspora. I don't know whether they were born here. I don't know whether they've lived all their lives here, but I want them to come and tell us. Challenge us as parents. Tell us what we need to know. And I've told them not to fear. We are here to listen. If we need to change things, yes, we are giving them this platform. So over to the young men, and I'm going to bring them in, and I'm sure you are ready to welcome them. You haven't shared enough. You haven't invited enough people. Here we go. Tonight, I've got Sam Mwangi and I've got Ian Odongo. I don't know why they haven't written their names. Hey, they're missing out. Why didn't you write your names? Hi. Was that on purpose? Did you do that on purpose?
No,
I think this is a deliberate move. So this already tells me difference between boys and girls. Because girls are so particular, they will write their nicknames. Oh, I see the names there, right? So, Samson Mwangi and Ian Odongo, welcome to Beacon of Hope. I am excited to host you, but I've just read the names. Would you like to introduce yourselves to the viewers tonight and welcome to Beacon of Hope? Who wants to go first?
I don't mind.
Yeah, okay, Ian, go first.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ian Odongo. I'm a journalist by profession. I have a degree in journalism communications. As Councillor was saying, I've lived in the diaspora for 25 years plus my entire life. I came to London when I was 10 months old. So through nursery, primary, secondary, A-levels, university, everything I've studied in London, to be honest. My whole life has been here. So I've lived and grown up here my whole life. I'm currently a businessman. I'm returning to university in October to study business administration. But yeah, we'll go into that a bit more later. What about you, Sam?
Wow. Hang on. Lived all your life in the diaspora, Ian. Wow. That's a different one. Okay, over to Sam. Sam, go on.
Thank you, Ma. So my name is Samson Mwangi. I'm a businessman by profession as well. Studied business management. I am a project manager by profession in pharmaceuticals and biotechnology. So that's my current career path. Lived all my life as well. So I came here when I was 1 year old. So I lived in the UK for most of my life, if not all. Have fond memories of going back to Kenya on a holiday. But I've lived in most of my life here, similar to Ian as well. So school, GCSEs, A-levels, university, all of that has been here. And I think just a caveat here, my later life when I was 18, I started to realize my love for Kenya, my love for wanting to know where I'm from. But we'll go into that more later. And part of a community as well called SEC as well, so the Southeast Kent Kenyans, and one of the vice chairs in the youth portion of that as well. So I lead that with Johnny and Chantel, who was there last week. I think she spoke last week. I think you guys saw her. And the SEC community is led by the chairman Lucas, amazing people like Maggie as well, Lady K, Mwangi. So yeah, I'll keep it brief. That's what I'll say.
Wow. I've seen somebody already made a comment. Oh, the young men, they are twanging. I can tell you that we've got a Beacon of Hope. We've got viewers from all the way from California. We've got viewers from Kenya. Oh, Reverend Jane Carrier. I think some of you know her. Chantel's mom, she's here. I can see Chearuka says here. I can see so many people. Michelle Edith, I can see. Ask them about the theme for International Youth Day. Yes, I'll come back to that. You see, questions have started flooding now. Now, I've been hosting girls, I've been hosting moms, and I've been challenged by the mothers and the parents, particularly, who have got sons. And I said, you should bring the young men. We want to hear from them. We want to know whether they also go through challenges. We want to know, what they have to say, what they have to tell the world. And, people are watching. People want to hear. But can I put a disclaimer? When we come here, there's no intimidation. If there's anything you feel that we as the older generation are not doing or we are failing, this is your forum where you can discuss, where you can freely open up and tell us. If there are things we are doing well, tell us also, because definitely it's not all. Somebody is already rushing. Are they married? Oh my God, you are in the market, young man. Come on, Sue, leave my voice alone now.
I'm engaged. I'm sorry. Nearly signed off. I'm engaged.
Sam, you never know. My forum deals with all sorts of things, but for now. So you can see everybody's super excited. Everybody's waiting to hear what you have to say. Now, my first question, obviously now, I'm going to twist and change a bit because you said you came here when both of you were less than 1 year old. So you've grown here all your time. Now, can you tell me, how often have you gone back to Kenya? Ian?
At that one, I have to thank my parents, to be honest, because I used to go back near enough. If I miss one summer, then I'll be in Kenya the next. So growing up, I spent nearly every other summer, basically every other summer, I was in Kenya. To the point I speak Kijaluo 100%. I speak Luo 100%. My Luo is actually very good. So yeah, I was there all of the time, really. But obviously, living and going on holiday are two completely different ways of being back home. But yeah, I was there nearly every other year. I spent a lot of time in Kenya.
Right. But not that's when you are younger. Okay, I will come to that. Yeah. Right. What about my son, Sam? How often have you been going back to Kenya?
So in my formative years, I went back, let's say, every other year. And then it slowly started to die down when I was becoming more independent, 16 years old. I was traveling elsewhere in the world. I wanted to see the world. I was more so. But in the early years, my mom was adamant, go home, see your family, But yeah, in the recent years, it's been a long time since I've been home.
Right. Now we come to the more deeper questions, which is where people are here. They want to know, growing up and settling as young men in diaspora, definitely there are challenges. The girls last week spoke to us and they told us relating with the people in diaspora and that generational gap between us as your parents and new people growing up here, relating with the people we find here, if I can say the white people, and you finding yourselves as Black boys. There's been a lot of talk about the Black boys, one thing, underperforming in schools, getting in trouble, all this kind of horrible talk about them. Can you tell us, each one of you individually, growing up, are there times when you ever felt different? Are there times when you are ever treated different? And up to this minute, how do you relate with, the rest of the community? And any one time when maybe even in school, because I've been a teacher for a long time here, and I know there are times when the Black boys were branded as that. So over to you. Can we start with Sam this time?
Yeah, of course. Like Ian, growing up in this country, it's made very evident that you are Black, you're other. And I remember the first time going back to Kenya, the biggest thing for me was that I was reminded that my skin color is not the first thing that someone sees. In the UK, you're always reminded that that's someone might clutch their bag, someone might treat or speak to you in a different tone simply because of what they might perceive of you. So just a little story, like even going from, I was attending youth, I think I was about 13, 14, 15. Leaving youth, had my Bible in my bag, was wearing black clothing on the way home. And then 2 police cars stopped me at a bus stop and said to me, you match a description of someone who robbed an elderly lady. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. And it was embarrassing because friends who were coming off the bus and I was from the local area saw me as well. And it's a thing of, I was desensitized to this because I've seen other people go through this. But until it happens to you, you I don't know, it's not, the proximity of it is not there. And then as soon as they took out the Bible out of my bag, they realized this might not be the person we're looking for. And you see on their faces, they're trying to go away. And I remember from then, it happened more so often, just fitting the description, being someone who seemed like someone else who would fit a description of someone who's committing crime or doing whatever. And for myself, I think that because of living in this country, it makes me, and being a Black person in this country, being a Kenyan in this country, it makes you hyper aware of what you can or what you're told you can't do. I'm not going to say what I can't do, but what I've been told I can't do. And more so it makes me want to go past those barriers in a sense. But yeah, those are one of the examples of my experience.
Oh, we'll revisit that because that's a bit. I didn't want to be the one prompting that, but there's a lot of nasty talk about the black boys being stopped by police and all that. Okay, let's hear from Ian. Growing up, Ian, can you tell us some of the, and you quote some of the times and incidents when maybe you can vividly remember things happening, but you can tell it's because you're black. Go on.
I think the first thing to say, like in London, it's a bit difficult because obviously we all know that we're different. As Sam was saying, you can tell, like from when you're a child, you kind of get to a point and you realize that, okay, I'm not the same as these people. These people, they might get treated a bit differently than me. But at that age, you don't really know how to digest that information. You don't really know how to express yourself and realize that this may be because of your skin color or so. So I think when I went to secondary school is when I realized, when I was in year 7. When I was in year 7, because I went to a school with predominantly white people. Well, at the time it was predominantly white people. So there's certain things that I would do, and it's like everybody else is doing it, but then at the end of the day, I'm the one that's getting in trouble. And like, if you're not a strong-willed person, if you don't realize what's happening, then in your mind you might fall into to start believing those things, that you start to believe that you're bad, or you're not able to achieve what other people are, like your classmates or whoever. So I think I was a very hard-headed person. So I think no matter what happened, I was able to just realize that no, that whatever these people are saying is not true. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not whatever they try to project onto me, it's not necessarily true. So I think at that age when I started to realize that, okay, there is actual differences. We're not all on the same page. We don't have the same opportunities. And my parents always made sure that I knew that whatever color, like I'm black, so I'm gonna have to work 10 times harder than like my friend who may be white to get to where I need to be. And it might sound cliche, but in the actual sense, it's actually true. You have to work much harder to actually achieve what you want to achieve. So I think that's where it really started for me, probably secondary school, like the beginning of secondary school.
Wow. This is some of the areas that people feel that our black boys, they're treated differently. But because I want to hear from firsthand from you people. And like Sam said, being stopped by the police and them being suspicious for no reason, just because you're a black boy. I think that kind of brings your what do you call it? You feel intimidated everywhere you go. You do not have the esteem anymore. You start getting low self-esteem. So would you quote? I mean, I did say, Ian, for you, have you ever had a time when you've been stopped, or maybe you've been treated different? Other now as an adult, obviously now, is there in one time, or even in uni?
I think probably a few years ago, there was a lot of knife crime going on in London. So then the police had introduced a stop and search policy. Like the Metropolitan Police had introduced a stop and search policy where they can just stop anybody at any time, and they don't have to give you a reason. They can just stop you at any minute, any time, and just search you. So during that, I was getting searched a lot. Like, and I used to think, like, what is, like, I might be leaving school or whatever with my friends, and out of everyone, I'm the one getting searched. So I used to think, what is actually happening? It made me start questioning everything more. Like, out of everybody here, am I the person that looks suspicious? Or as Sam was saying, matches. That's another excuse they like to use, matches the description. As if every black person or black man looks the same.
My God.
I used to get really agitated, to be honest. I used to get really Like, really, I used to ask a lot of questions, as in why, like, what has happened? What is exactly happening? Why do you keep stopping me? Or because you can get stopped. Those times you could legitimately get stopped like 5 times in a day. You may realistically be in a hurry, but you're getting stopped. Police just come out of nowhere and just stop you. And they had a mandate. They didn't have to explain to you. They didn't have to like give you a reason. They'll just be like, this is section something of the crime act. We're stopping people. Da, 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 da. You don't have to look suspicious. You don't have to have specifically done anything. They can just search you. And that's when I started realizing, even if the statistics came out a few years later, that they were stopping black men like 5 times more than white men, even though we don't even count for 5% of the British population. It didn't make any sense at all. So it was a bad time, to be honest. It was a very bad time.
Wow, what about, oh my God, you make people sad now to hear some of these things, but it's the truth, and we really got to talk about it, because if you don't talk about it, I mean, you not have any other place. This is your forum where you can talk about these issues so that we can see. Some of us are in leadership positions and we can talk about it. We can bring in the awareness, and some of the parents watching here, to be honest, they need to know so that when they see their sons behaving in a certain way, they know how to handle this. What about you, Sam?
For me, in regards, I'll ask you what the question was, because do you want me to go into what I'd say to the leadership, or with regards to my experience?
No. I did say, did you tell us about, in the times that you did say one time when you were stopped? Did you think, when is the time when you really felt this is being done to me because I'm black? Is it younger, or does it still happen even today? Not just by police. There are incidents where you go and maybe you've got a party somewhere, or maybe you're on a train or a bus, or maybe in a function somewhere, or maybe in a whatever it is, and you're mixed, but somebody feels like I'm being treated this way just because of my skin color. Have you ever had such a time?
Yeah, most definitely. So growing up, I grew up in London, went to school in London, actually sitting at primary school, and then halfway through secondary school, I actually moved to the Midlands. And obviously London is a multi-ethnic city. Like Ian was alluding to before, you're not the black people, not the only BAME ethnic minority there. And I don't like that term, I'll point that out there. But even living in the Midlands was predominantly black, predominantly white areas. And my school that I went to, the primary school I went to, the secondary school that I went to, I found that there was in moments that I would get treated differently, or my questions that I would answer that were given to the class, or that I would answer these questions in the same manner that my colleagues or my counterparts would answer the question. And it would be because of the tone I may answer the question, or because I'm confident in the way I answer it, I'll be told that that's not right, or you question in a way that, and I feel like it's another topic we can definitely discuss at another time. But as African men and black men, you can sometimes feel like you're emasculated in regards to how we present ourselves in the world. We sometimes can't be the strong men that we want to be, even if sometimes that's not your how every man will be able to be present themselves. But if you are a confident man, assertive, not rude but assertive, sometimes you'd have to dial it down in the corporate world, dial it down within the working environment. So fast forward on to post-university working, I always have to remember that in the first 6 months or the first 12 months working somewhere, be careful how you speak to people. Be careful how you present cases. Be careful how you present your grievances, because there'll be times where you'll be said, "Oh, I felt that was a bit aggressive." I wasn't being aggressive at all. I was being assertive. So throughout your life, but I think, like Ian was saying as well, secondary school onwards, you start to realize how to navigate that and also accommodate for these situations. It's sad, but there's ways that we do it, and there's ways that we combat it. I think. So.
Right. I can see a lady who lives the other way in the US and says racism is all over. Yes. And someone would like to hear from you whether this has stopped you. Come back to that. Somebody wants to know, is this harassment and discrimination, is this still on? It depends on where you are, isn't it? So, Ian, quickly in a few words, do you think this harassment, racism, is it still ongoing?
It is definitely, but I think the way Our generation maybe has found other ways to combat it, as Samson was touching on there. There's people are more aware. You know, when you're aware of something, find ways, you're now able to find quicker ways of snuffing out such things. There's programs, there's knowledge. I think knowledge is the word. Once you're aware of something, you know how to deal with it. I'm not saying that it's disappeared, but we found ways of dealing with it and maneuvering it, so pressing it to as, like, keeping it to as minimal as it can be, but it's definitely still there.
Wow, let's come to a point that is very close to my heart. You guys, you came here when I must say, it's kind of almost, you were born here, so there must be that generational gap. There must be that difference between us and you. Can you tell us what are some of the things that, and we said it's an honest, hard talk. Yes, I am a parent, definitely. Some of them might hit me, but I want to hear from you. What are some of the things that you feel we, the older, the other generation, we don't understand you? I mean, is there anything that you feel we are not there? We are not at level. Do you think there is any way we've not been able to bridge the gap between you and us? I'll start with Sam.
I'll be brief on this one, but definitely I think that because of the different experiences that we had to our parents when they came to the country, usually our parents, we are second generation in most cases that have come to the UK. Our parents have come here, we've lived most of our life here. And I think that because of the opportunity that were given to them to, you know, get their papers, establish themselves in a career, and those were the main things for them. I think there is a lack of understanding sometimes for the young men to understand that opportunities aren't as scarce or as narrow-minded, or in a way that you can think, I have to do these subjects or go to this university to be able to be successful, or do this to be successful. I think that dialogue is needed between the young men and the older generation, to understand what is available, because we are the ones in the world, we are the ones on the social media talking to people, and if that autonomy is not given to the young men from a young age, from the 16, 17, before they go to university, before they make the biggest decision of their life in regards to their careers and what they want to do, give them that autonomy to establish who are they, what is your self-identity, what do you want to do? Because at the end of the day, I will say this, that the young men that are young right now, who become young adults and fathers or uncles, or whatever they may do in their life, the decisions that they make, they are the ones who have to live with those decisions. Not our parents, not our sisters or brothers. We are the ones who live with that legacy of the decisions that we make. So I think empowering our young men to be autonomous in their decisions, and have more of a dialogue to understand what our world looks like now for us in comparison to how it looks for maybe you when you came in your 30s and in your 20s to the UK.
Right. And I'll come back to the same question, but Ian, the same question. Can you tell us, do you think the gap is too much, or we do not understand you, or maybe we treat you the way we shouldn't be treating you?
I definitely agree with Samson there. Obviously, at a point, I can't blame our parents' generation, because when you guys came, most of you were economic migrants. So when you came, you had one goal, which was to make
look for
money. Yeah, to look after the family, make money, send money home. There wasn't really a clear set goal of what is going to happen in 30, 40, 50 years. But with us, we've been here our whole life. So we're looking at things completely differently. This is like a clean slate for us. So what I'd say for the older generation, as Sam was alluding to there, is whatever your child wants to do, I'd say support it. Because in this day and age, people are becoming successful in every kind of field possible. I know education is important, 100% it is important, but if your child has a talent, that is one key. That's one thing I really want to say. If your child has a talent, you need to nurture that talent. Go out of your way to to make sure that child can go as far as they can in that field. I know young Kenyan I know Kenyans in fields that you wouldn't believe would be possible. Like back home, if you were saying like fashion design, for example, I know people, young Kenyans successful in fashion design, for example. Back home, if you told your mom you wanted to be like a fashion designer, they'd kind of look at you like, what are you even talking about? But where we are in the diaspora, I think we have a very good opportunity. So I'd say whatever your child wants to do and is good at, please support. Please support.
Right. I'm just finding this funny. Some people are saying, did I just hear? It's over there. Anyway, some of them are just, I love this. This is one of the parents here, Stacy. There's also the issue of self-identity, because I think I want to hear this from you, that some of the young men growing up, your age, your generation, that you do not have enough role models. So whatever you're doing, we shouldn't be complaining because we are not setting enough good role models for you. How true is that, Ian?
In terms of role models,
not enough.
I don't know, Reed. I don't know how to answer that one, to be honest.
No, men role models. Yeah.
In terms of our community or in terms of our personal?
No, a man, when I talk about role models like me, to be where I am, there were some older people whom I'd seen go into politics and I could envy them, and that's what I would mean by role models. For you now in the diaspora, do you think we have enough men role models for you?
I think we have role models, but definitely not enough. Definitely not enough. Sometimes you need.
Again, positive. Do we have those positive role models for you?
We don't have.
Not enough.
Not enough. There may be people, but there's a difference. There may be people doing great things. There may be Kenyans doing great things, but maybe they're just not supporting the youth. Understand what I'm saying? There's a difference. Being a role model doesn't necessarily mean that you're just doing something great, but that means you're also helping the younger generation move forward. You may be doing something great, but you're not necessarily mentoring or helping the younger generation. I think that might be the difference there. Because we have a lot of Kenyans. We have Kenyans excelling in numerous fields in this country, in crazy amounts of fields in this country. So if we don't have role models, I think that's our own. We have to look at ourselves.
Let's hear that's your view. Sam could have a totally different view. What about you, Sam? Positive role models, are they there?
I think I agree with you to an extent. So it's not that different, but I do think exposure is the issue. In regards to, we have, like Ian said, we have a lot of very successful Kenyan men across the board, in Kenya and in the diaspora, in the UK and in Europe and in America. And I think it's important for us to focus on exposure in regards to, it's when you're a young person, it's what you see, what you want to be. That's what you emulate. That's what you want to become. And that's how if you try to go in a field, it's because you see maybe Mo Farah in that field and you said, I want to become a runner because I see Mo Farah. You try running, you weren't good at it, you go somewhere else, but you tried because you've seen a role model. And I think it's important for us, like even in athletics, I know I really believe that in the Olympics, there's many other Kenyans who could do other things. We're not just runners, we can do other things. And I believe in many cases that it's important for us to see what our young people want to do, because I believe that in their talents and in what they want to pursue, I think it's important for them to be able to be pushed forth within what they want to do. I do believe that there's a lot of Kenyan men who do amazing things, but I don't see enough posted on our internal community social media. Within we've got many boards, we've got many pages that we have these things, and I think we focus too much on maybe things that are not important to political conversations, where more so we need to talk about how business opportunity in Kenya is incredible right now. The amount of things that happen in Kenya in regards to business, regards to investment, in regards to different industries within Kenya. This has even made myself even say to myself, I need to invest back in my own country because of the exposure I've seen. So I think it's important that we focus on pushing this to the young people in the UK as well. That's what I would say.
Wow, it seems most of you now, your focus is kind of almost going back to, I can see Chairman Lucas is saying we've got groups like the Southeast and Kent, the SEC, we've got the Luton and Dunstable, we've got ELEC in East London, but I think more needs to be done. That is the idea. We need to have more of these. We need to have exposure. Now, there is always also, I should have asked that right from the beginning, the issue of self-identity. Self-identity. Do you identify yourselves as British, as Kenyans, the Kenyan British, British Kenyan? How do you identify yourselves now that you, the two of you, luckily, you've grown all your life here. You came here when you were days old, months old. Well, how do you identify yourselves? I'll start with Ian.
I'm definitely a Kenyan first. Because that's home. That's always going to be home. Like, no matter what happens, Kenya is home, good or bad. I have to end up back home regardless of what happens. So I think the British side is part of me, but it's not as big as the I'm like 25% British and 75% Kenyan.
Don't say that, we're gonna chase you.
I'm 75% Kenyan, so
Oh yeah.
for me, I always say I'm Kenyan. Like, if anybody asks if I'm applying for anything, I tick Kenyan, African, then British we deal with after.
Oh my God! Right, Sam, the same question. Identity. Do you have identity crisis? There are places definitely Ian doesn't want to share. There are places where sometimes you go and you're thinking, should I have said, what should I, Okay, Sam, over to you. I know he's coming back.
I think me and Ian are fortunate because of our age and even I would say first and foremost, I'm a Kenyan. Wherever I go, wherever someone asks me, where are you from? I'm not British. I never say that I'm British. It's a formality in regards to my passport or my citizenship, but I'm a Kenyan man. But I think we're fortunate for our age, because I know there's a lot of young people who they're dealing with that. They're 16, 17, 18 years old, and they don't know much about home. Maybe they haven't been home enough to even have that tangible feeling of I'm a Kenyan. But I definitely see that within communities like Chairman Lucas has been pointing out, within Luton, the SEC community as well, that there's a lot of Kenyans within the UK that are proud to be Kenyan. And I think that's one thing that we should keep on vocalizing. We are proud. We are very proud people. Not pride in regards to pride that comes from before the fall, but proud in because of what we've gone through as a country. Within 50, 60 years, we became independent, That what our country has done for the region, what our country has done for Africa, for ourselves, we are an amazing country. So I think that I know most Kenyans identify as Kenyan first. I would say that definitely.
Wow. I think when it comes to identity, I think the girls struggle more with identity because they want to dress like the white guys. I think I've had more of the girls struggling, and I think, like you say, your age, I think you've gone past. You're still not yet 30, both of you, but you've gone past that age of who am I? How do I associate? Whom do I associate? And I'm really happy to hear that you are proud Kenyans. And I can also see a lady in America, Naitwa Anne Mwari Wakariuki. She's a proud Kenyan living in America. She lives in USA, but she's a proud Kenyan. That is a very, very good thing to say about. We still go back. There is an area that you still haven't pointed out properly, where that gap between us and you. What are some of the things that maybe you even go for functions and you think, this is not the way this should be handled. This is not the way my Kenyan parents should be doing things. Are there any times when you go places, maybe it's weddings and the all that goes with weddings, maybe birthdays, maybe church, whatever functions, are there times when you feel, I think this should be handled differently? I think it's too much of the Kenyan, and here we are, we need to incorporate the people we are with. Tell us where. I still want to hear the challenge. You still haven't. And I know behind bars, you do talk about the challenges of us, our generation. Sam, would you like to take on that?
Yeah, I might disagree with a lot of people my age, to be honest with you, on this, but I think when it comes to functions, I don't think we should lose our culture in regards to what we do, how we dress, our language. I think one thing, when I was about 21 years old, I came across a man called Wathiongo, a writer. Yeah. Yes. And I remember going on YouTube and finding out that he only writes in Kikoyo. He only writes in his, because he doesn't want that language to be
only. Yeah.
He doesn't want it to be lost. And I was like, that is beautiful, because our language is something we should be proud of. So in regards to functions and in regards to events and stuff, I don't think we should necessarily dial it down or water it down. I think it's more of a question of how do we include the generations? How do we include each other in decision making? Because in regards to generational gap, I believe that there is a generational gap because of the lack of dialogue and the freedom of what can be said and what can't be said. I remember I said this at the beginning, because a lot of young people feel like they can't approach their elders, and we're our culture is very respectful to our elders, but we can't approach them and say things, because the first thing that will be heard is disrespect, or you're not grateful for what we've done for you. But that's not what we're saying. We might be saying something that this is maybe the better way to navigate this, and that stopgap doesn't allow a lot of people, or a lot of young people, to engage themselves within community events or within community decisions. But I do believe that there's people cropping up within the community, young people who are saying, "I'll be a leader of a youth community. I will be a leader." I think you yourself, you've got you mentored a young lady who became the youngest councillor in the UK. So there is a lot of individuals who are willing to navigate it in that way, and I think there's people that are that mentoring aspect of it is what we need more so, to have that. I will listen to you and I'll help you get to where you need to go, but I will listen to you. That's the main thing I would like to say. I think that's what needs to be done more.
Same question, Ian. What do you think?
I agree with Sam 100%. I think it's that issue of listening. I think 9 out of 10 now, young people our age and still younger, still feel like our parents' generation don't listen when it comes time to make serious decisions. When as what Sam said was very, very serious there. He said that because the decisions that you're gonna make is I'm the one that's gonna have to deal with the decisions I've made. So if I'm the one that's gonna have to deal with the decisions I've made, and I feel like my family or my parents have still pushed me to do what they wanted and not what I wanted to do, how am I going to end up feeling? I'm going to feel you're doing something you didn't want to do. And then on top, the decision wasn't even yours. And you're not good at, you end up doing that just to please your parents. There's no real understanding. Everybody as a stakeholder has to have a piece of the pie. You have to come to a conclusion together, but most of us probably feel like our parents' generation do not take on board what we think. They still, as Sam was saying, the issue of respect, this issue of somebody's older than you, so you can't tell them that they're wrong. That's another issue. Sometimes you have to tell your parents that you're wrong. Like, Mom, I can't lie. Dad, I can't lie. You're wrong in this instant. Those conversations need to be had. And if you can't have that conversation in the most basic of things, you can't expect somebody to trust you with other crazy things. Like something crazy might happen. They might not trust you. So I think that issue of being able to speak, it's as simple as that, just being able to speak to your parents, being felt like your voice is being listened to, and you'll see a different side, you'll see a completely different side to somebody, to be honest.
So I like that, Ian. Allow me, please, and excuse me, because I thought that's interesting that I've heard that parents, you don't listen to us. There's no dialogue. You just expect us to say, yes, sir, whatever you'd say. And I love that bit of in a family, yes, in that family setup, everybody is a stakeholder and everybody should get a piece of that pie. Give them an opportunity, give them a chance to talk, and then you listen, have that dialogue. I'm saying this to parents as much as I talk to myself, because remember, at the beginning, what did I tell you? I said, you are here talking to us as parents, talking to your colleague, young people. Let us have that dialogue. So that's one thing that I'm taking back with me, that parents, and especially parents of young men in diaspora, we don't listen. We don't give you an opportunity to air your views. We just want to say yes. We expect you to say yes, sir. Most times we don't give you an opportunity in decision making. You want to be part and parcel of what is happening. Oh dear. Nancy says having family meetings regularly. Yes. And those of you who are watching, please, let's get those comments. Let's hear those comments. Lady K says, guilty of not listening as much as I should. Yes, believe me, I am guilty. I don't think I grew up with that mentality of, yes, it's me to be heard. And these young men are telling us the only challenge that they have is parents not listening, not giving the young people an opportunity. Also, they're also stakeholders in the family setup. They want to be listened to. They want to be given an opportunity. So that dialogue is not there. Now tell me, when it comes to cultures and food and, our cultures back home, like a lot having fish, having gima, do you have problems with that in adopting? Because I know some of you come here and all you want is fish and chips, McDonald's. Yes, I know. Ian loves choma so much. So do you have, your generation, do you have an issue with that? Because I feel I want to eat githeri. So is there a problem with me having my githeri? Is there a problem with me having my omena and ugali?
I will categorically say, and I think Ian will second it, but no, not at all.
Food is probably the one thing everybody can agree on. Food is the one thing about London that we're lucky about, is that our culture is there's a lot of Kenyans. So for me, for example, I can literally pick up my phone any time of the day, ring somebody and say, oh, can we go and eat some nyama choma? And we go and eat nyama choma. We have places to eat. We have places to convene as Kenyans. So I think in terms of food, no. With food, I love Kenyan food.
And also,
oh, me, I love Kenyan food. Love Kenyan food.
Love it.
Everything. Githeri, mandazi, nyama, honestly. I used to have friends, mokimo, of course. Fish, tilapia. Yeah, I used to have friends who used to go to boarding school in Kenya, and because they used to eat githeri every day, they didn't like githeri when they came here. Me, I said, well, what's wrong with you? Me, I love githeri, I can have it every day.
I'm the same. I love githeri as well. I love githeri as well.
Right. Now, on a more deeper issue of now dealing with the young people, I did say from the beginning, because I've done a bit of research, that statistics can show that we've got a few Kenyan young men behind bars. Some of them drink drive, some of them stabbing, some of them drugs. And more so, there's a lot of drug taking among our young people from the ages of 18 up to where you are 30. Do you think that is an issue? Do you think that is a problem? Not necessarily you, but obviously you deal with others, and and like I was saying, we know you've got a few behind bars. We've got a few who have got tags. What do you think about that? Or whoever wants to start.
I'll start. I think as we've been saying, as me and Sam have been saying, this all starts with when our parents came, when you guys first came. And that's what we're saying. We can't blame our parents, because you guys, your job was to go to work, provide for us, put food on the table. So when you're doing those things, you don't necessarily have as much time to spend with your son or your daughter. Kenya isn't like England, isn't like Kenya, where you can knock on your neighbor's door and tell your neighbor that, oh, I'm going to be working for 10 hours. Can you look after my small children? And they'll look after. You have to pay for childcare. You have to look for other avenues. If you don't have any family or anyone, you're stuck by yourself. When those things happen, children might find other ways to entertain themselves, for example. And in this country, it's very easy, to be honest, very easy to get caught up in maybe legal things, alcohol. It's very easy to get caught up in things. But that goes back to what we were saying about listening and paying attention. If you see your child is maybe in a situation that isn't them, or you see them slipping, that you speak to them, talk to them, because everybody wants somebody that will listen to them. There's nobody in the world that if you say, I will sit down and listen to what you actually say, there's nobody that will decline that. So listening and speaking, sorry, somebody. Listening and speaking is the number one way to prevent. But it is true, there is a lot of, not just Kenyans, East Africans, Caribbeans, black men, but it is very widely spread in our community, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, I definitely think this is something that that is close to my heart, because I see it a lot. You know, you see it a lot with the young boys that used to play football with at church, and they're now doing, and it's a sad thing, because I think Ian touched on it very, very, very well. That idleness and that lack of direction, or that lack of identity, which Councillor, you spoke about, that self-identity and that self-esteem, it all boils up to doing things that you just trying things you shouldn't be trying, being with people that you shouldn't be with, and not having that self-awareness of how does this benefit me. And I think we have to be more. And one thing that's beautiful about Kenya is we are community. We are people that we believe in community more than many other cultures. I believe that as much as we focus community at home and we try to do it here, we need to be more. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Be more
proactive in it.
Yeah, proactive in how community will affect, and how it's a necessity for the youth here. Because, like Ian alluded to, there's so many opportunities, and people can just slip. You know, a month, 6 months in the wrong with the wrong company, they might have failed their A level, they've done the wrong thing, and gone down the wrong path. And I think there's a lot of things that are going well with community initiatives happening with a lot of Kenyans in the UK, in London, in the Midlands, in southern regions as well. I think it's important that we have that dialogue with the youth and ask them what is going on, because I feel like a lot of the young people who are going into these things will close themselves off simply because of the judgment. And that judgment is something I know we as Kenyans, we are very aware of how our community can judge one another as well. And that's something that many people don't want to talk about, because of course it's a taboo thing, but it's something we should be aware of, because as much as young people might need to be saved, we need to be willing to go on a journey with them to pull them back from that where they are, because it's not a tomorrow thing where you can say to someone, stop doing this. It's not something that can happen in a moment or in a day. You have to walk with a young person or a young man to do this, because you're changing his direction, his path. And so I think that is key. I think that judgment needs to be removed, and I'm a Christian myself, and I believe that forgiveness and that judgment needs to be removed before you can rehabilitate someone from these situations. And I believe we need to bring that in our community. So.
Wow. You guys have. There's a question from Lady K. She says, there's been a lot of talk about the boy child being left behind. How can we, as the first generation of Kenyan migrants, support our young men? Obviously, I brought that kind of, but I think my question wasn't direct. Thank you, Lady K, for bringing in that. Because people say, oh, the boy child has been left behind, the boy child, no one cares. And it's kind of true, and that is the challenge I got. I was told I bring in so many girls, so many women, not many men. In fact, I don't think I brought men. Yeah, I did. I brought twice, yes. But for the boys. So what do you think we, the first generation of Kenyan migrants, should do to support our young men? You know?
Councillor, if you allow me, I'll use you as an example for my answer. I have a media platform called Mambo Zuri, a young Kenyan media platform. So me and a friend of mine, a few of us, we created a media platform for Kenyans in the diaspora. We started this in 2015. So we cover everything for the diaspora, for about Kenya, for diaspora, for people in the diaspora, whether you're in America, China, Germany. So we cover everything. So when we started that, there is obviously some places that we couldn't get to straight away, or we couldn't reach, and it would have been a bit difficult for us to penetrate and get to. So Councillor, just out of wanting to help us, put us in certain positions where people saw what we could do. So these people now saw that, okay, these are not just young people that are just started. Yes, these people actually know what they're doing. So putting us in those positions actually got us more opportunities, and it allowed us to reach a point where we do so well with what we do. And those are the things that, as the youth, you need. Sometimes you might not know exactly where to start or where to begin. You might just need somebody to tell you, son, there's football trials here at this team. I know the coach, you can go and train. You just need that one opportunity, and you can develop from there. So that's what I was saying about people doing big things in our community. If we can have more people engaged, I know we have these groups in Luton, Bedford, East London, South London, but I'm sure we don't even capture even 5% of the Kenyan population in the UK. The Kenyan population in the UK is absolutely massive. If we were to manage to capture even quarter of the amount of people, we'd have an unbeatable force. So just using Council as an example, the position she was able to just help, just a little nudge. It wasn't even anything like in crazy. It's just a little nudge to put you in touch with the right person who can see now what you're capable of doing. And from there, the possibilities are endless. So those kind of things I believe can really help the youth, really, really help the youth.
In short, we need to expose you more, like what we are doing with SEC and Dunstan and Luton and South East London community. So what else would you have to add, Sam?
Yeah, I think I wrote some stuff down when you were speaking about it earlier. And there's three things. Being in business, you start to think about how these things can link, how people can be reminded of stuff. So I wrote exposure, empower, and elevate. And Ian basically covered those things. We have to expose our young people, empower, and elevate the young men. Because, like you said, and you alluded to, they've been left behind. So we have to be conscious in how we bring them to the forefront. In regards to opportunities and making sure that they are aware of, if you are in your field and you are a manager and you know that you have an internal careers page and you post that in the community page, post that for the young people, because parents are the ones who are speaking to their young people, and they might know, oh, my son wants to work in pharmaceuticals. There's an opportunity, these are the ways that we will empower one another, because the community, we are responsible for our young men. I know it's their decisions, but we are responsible for what is put in front of them. And we can't leave that to this country. We can't leave that to the UK and to the UK media and all this stuff. So in regards to empower, I believe that we should focus more so on the good things that they're doing. Empower them to be more accountable for the good stuff. Because if you speak more about the good stuff, even on social media recently, he's not a Kenyan child, but I think he's I think he's from Congo or West Africa. But those two young boys who got 3 A stars. in I don't know if Ian you saw this on social media, but they got
Yeah.
3 A-stars and they got scholarships into Harvard.
Oh, in Brampton.
Yeah,
In Brampton.
yes. Brampton Manor, yeah.
And pushing these sort of things to the forefront will allow our younger kids to see, if they can do it, why can't I do it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's those things that if it's in your forefront, if it's in your purview of your phone and you're able to see it on your phone and your social media, allow the young people to see it also, and elevate as well, of course, bring them up in these situations and allow them to be able to have these opportunities in their hand. So that's what I would say.
Wow. This all goes back again to the communication, where we really need to have that dialogue, because how will you know? Where I'm also blaming the young men, because if you don't talk, we will not know. Like when Mambozuri started, they spoke to me. You know, they invited me and showcased what they were just about to do. And so I knew they needed some exposure somewhere. So you also need to come out. Don't put yourself in that cocoon. Don't hide yourself. Come out so that we can also know that you are there, because we don't want to put all of you in the same basket of, oh, these are our black boys who, because it could be only just a few of them who are into drugs, who are not doing well, but everybody looks at it as en masse, all the black boys. I believe, and I want to take that point from Sam, just even putting positive things on our social media. I went out this week. I've been out into all the schools looking at the performance in GCSEs and A levels, and I can assure you, with the permission of the parents, I took a few photos with some Kenyans who had done brilliant 9 A's or all A-stars and all that. But because some of our parents don't want to expose them, they think that's the way we were brought up. We don't, our generation, we are in that generation of, when you showcase what you are doing, people think you are showing off. Whereas for you, this is the right thing to do, but for our generation, it takes a bit of courage. I've been doing that. I've been showing off. I've been writing. When I became the cabinet member there a few months ago, I put that on social media. Trust me, I still got some negative comments. What is that? What, it's nothing to do with us. All these kind of things. When I became the mayor, I still got, very negative comments from people and all that when I became the councillor. But that does not stop me. So even for you, you need to come out also. You need to tell us, show off. You are doing so well. You are project manager. Ian the other day was sharing with me. He's got businesses. He's doing so well. He's studying now, Let us know. And other young people, we also look at you. And this also goes back to the mentors. We said, that's true. Absolutely correct that we do not have enough mentors for our young people. We do not have enough men role models for our young people. And so if all they see is the fighting in the families, if all they see is all the drunkards, if all they see, so we need to have more role models in terms of both parents, actually, men and women, Now, going back to the studies, because now this goes back to you guys supporting the younger children, because I know parents here, they are watching, and they are watching with their young men to studies. Where do we go wrong? Choice of subjects, choice of universities. Where do we go wrong? Do we still go back to that bit of, we as parents dictate for you, we don't give you a choice? Because you find that most of the young men, the choice of subjects they take, they end up also now changing completely, or we do not have as many young professionals. We do not have as many of young men, especially Kenyan. I know you're talking of black, but I want us to focus more on the Kenya. This forum is more of the Kenyan men. Where do we go wrong? Where do you young men fail? Where is that link? Choice of, jobs, careers, and opportunities, and choice of subjects which you study. Is there an area that needs uplifting? Do we need to up the game a bit, or what do you think about that, Ian?
Okay, with this one, I'll blame more on the parents. This one, I'll flat out, I'll blame this one more on the parents.
Go on, yeah, we're listening.
As parents, I think parents should do more research. Because, for example, 5 years, and Sam will back me up, 5 years ago, the jobs making the most money today may be completely different. For example, when I went to study journalism, the year I went to study journalism, around 5 newspapers went defunct. So imagine if I went to study print journalism, then the next year everybody's moved to media journalism. I'm in the wrong sector completely. So I think parents should do proper research and realize that there are especially in Kenya, I'm speaking to Kenyan parents, realize that there are a million ways of becoming successful in, not even just in the diaspora, in the world now. There is a million things that will make you successful. We don't have to stick to the traditional, and we all know them, teacher, doctor, lawyer, accountant. That's another one. Those are the fields that I think now most parents still feel like if you don't do those subjects, then what are you really doing? But there is 100 different things you can study. Finance, you can go into real estate, you can go into construction, is a field that you can make a lot of money. Sports, not just being a sports person yourself, you can be a sports physiotherapist, you can be a million things. So I say parents should really know what the differences are. And now you don't necessarily have to go to university. If you have a course that doesn't need a degree but can get you directly into a job, you don't need to go.
We have the apprenticeships, which
are
apprenticeships.
I know many people that have been successful through apprenticeships. IT didn't have to go to university. So we have to look past that thing of there's only one route to be successful. We have to look completely in another direction, because even when I look at my English friends that went to school, very few of them went to university. All of us had degrees, went to university, but they may have, they kind of showed me other ways of becoming successful as well. That's what I'd say.
Right, Sam, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Go on then, Sam.
I commend you, Ian, for saying it as it is, calling a spade, because it's true. I think I love our parents and I love the elders in our community for, wanting the best for us. That's where the heart of it. But truly, you need to expose yourself to what is available right now in 2020. What is available now? So apprenticeships, university, and I think university necessarily isn't always after A levels. Not necessarily, because your child might not know what he wants to do. The child might not know. And also the debt he will incur, he or she will incur, we are talking about the men, from making the wrong decision, it shouldn't be taken lightly. Yeah. That's all. Because they, like I said, the decisions that we make are the ones we live with. The parents are not paying that debt from their salary when they're 25, 30 years old. It's the man who's paying that debt from his salary, continuously. So I think we should consider what do you want, what kind of life do you want to live? And I would ask these questions, like family. I think someone alluded to it before. They said about having discussions on the family table, eating dinner and talking about not just how's your day at work to the parents, but asking the young children, what did you enjoy in school? And the things that they enjoyed, but also what did you struggle in school? Because we can help you with that, but doesn't necessarily mean if you struggle with the maths, if you struggle with English, you need to get that right and do that. No, we just want you to have good grades and pursue what you want to do. Give yourself the best opportunity to be on the right footing to do what you want to do. My mum was amazing in this. She always listened to me in regards to what I wanted to do, and allowed me to be able to understand how to navigate my decisions and and now I'm in a position where I'm proud of the decisions I made, and I don't regret trying things out and trying different fields out. I am a lover of art. I'm a lover of creativity, and I went after college. I went to an art school, and that was probably the most insightful years for me, because I became confident. And when I went into the corporate world, that confidence was what allowed me to become more and more successful, be promoted, because I was a confident person from those formative years. So yeah, I definitely think we need to be more, take that responsibility of understanding and asking yourself, what does my child want to do? And also, success is not a straight path. 18, university, degree, masters. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Let's be real, honestly.
That's true.
Wow, I like that point by Chantel Kadia, who says, be open-minded. Think about where your child talents lie and really equip your child. Put them in their environments to find that information to make informed choices. It's very, very important. So we still go back to what I said right from the beginning, exposure, which is lacking, taking you, even if it's just visits to banks, career days, all these are very, very important so that your child is not put in a box. He has an open mind, so as you make any choices, we go back to what Ian said, they have a stake at what is happening. At the end of the day, is their future. But I can tell you, when we do this as parents, it's because of the care and concern that we have. So none of us would do anything that would be to harm you. But it goes back to that first point we said, where some of you think we are still old-fashioned, we are still old school, we don't understand you, you still want us to go, all those things. But with dialogue, going back to your point, with dialogue, I don't think we'd go wrong at all having that dialogue. Now we're almost coming to the end. We've just gone, where does the one hour go? It goes so quick. As we wrap up, what advice do you have? We take both parents. Yes, you said the first one was dialogue, and I'll give you a few moments, each one of you, as we wrap up, to say the advice you have for parents, the advice you have for the young people, and especially the young men, because I believe there was a comment that was in the inbox where the young Kenyan men are suffering from transitioning from childhood to adulthood. That gap. Somebody put a comment and said, I think that is where our young men are losing it. From when they are young, their moms and dads are there with them, but changing from that spot, moving from childhood now to adulthood, where you are going to make your own informed decisions in terms of even getting your own job, getting your own business, starting a home and all that. I think that gap there is so wide, and that is where some of you are getting lost. That was the comment. So winding up, what do you have to tell us? What do you think? Where do you think we've gone wrong? Where do you think we need to improve? Where have we done it right? And also for the young men growing up, young Kenyan men growing up here, maybe there are mistakes that you made and you'd like to advise them. Maybe there are things that you've done and they have worked. So openly, who goes first?
I'll let my older brother go first.
Right.
I like what Samson said there about taking time to make the right decision. Because now looking back myself, I wish I didn't go straight to university from A levels. And that took me a long time to realize as well. I wish I took like a year out and worked and then like realized what I really want to do and then went to university. I think the transition from A levels to university, I think people underestimate, but it's a very serious jump. Like be tired straight from GCSEs. A levels are ridiculously hard. A levels are not something that you just wake up and study and finish. A levels are serious exams. Then you now go to university where you're looking for a degree. So I think there's a time where you need to think. And for the parents, another thing I'll tell you that doesn't help, comparison. Don't compare your children, what your children are doing at their age to what you are doing at your age. That's a very key point. You'll find a lot of the older generation making remarks about, at their age they were doing this.
I was cooking for 10 people.
Yeah, I'd made 1 million shillings, but as Samson said, success is not linear. Everybody has a different journey. There may be pressure, but do not add pressure by comparing your journey with your kids' journey. People may take longer to snap onto things than others. So it's very important to just let somebody live their life. As Samson was saying, you have to let somebody make the decisions for themselves, because you can speak who you want, but the world is what will teach you how things really are. For our parents, I'd just say encourage as much as possible. And I like what Chantel said. I'd say like the best way to do it is you lay all the information on the table. The person with the most information makes the most informed choice, makes the best choice at the end of the day.
I like
So if you have everything at your disposal, use everything at your disposal. Give your kids every opportunity to explore everything. Don't just funnel them in one specific field or category that may not be their strongest point. Give them the opportunity to explore everything, because even if you get your degree by 25, you've not missed out anything in the world. When you're young, I remember when I was going to university, I was looking at people 25 doing their degree thinking, wow, this person's old. But when I'm looking back now, 25, somebody doing their degree, that's a drop in the ocean, because by the time you come out 26, 27, 28, the whole world is still there. So my key point there is do not compare. Just let somebody follow their journey, but support as much as possible. Let them be there when they need, where you see them, because wrong is wrong. When you see somebody going wrong on the wrong path, you guide them. But in terms of letting them discover and choose, you have to just let them do what they want until they find what they think is right for them.
But do you think if we leave them, it's gonna go on infinitely? It's not gonna
No.
I think that's the nail on the head right there. That's why a lot of our young men are seen to not have bridged.
Yeah, you have to let somebody. Our parents think that somebody 1-2 years they haven't maybe got into a field that they have. You sat them down and asked them, maybe they studied a course now they didn't want to do and they don't want to do that job, but of fear of letting down the parents or embarrassing or whatever, they don't want to speak about it. But if you have if your house is open, if you're able to speak about anything, I'm telling you your kids will grow up to be the most free speaking people, the most open people ever. And we're in a place where we're lucky we can do all of those kind of things. There's unlimited opportunities here. You can do 1,000,001 things if you want to. So definitely do not limit and do not allow don't think that somebody is just wondering. They may know what they want to do. They're just in the plan of just support them.
Support and guidance, okay?
Yeah, support and guidance.
And Sam, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly with you there. I think even what Chantal said about being open-minded, I think one funny thing I find is that honesty is important, and our parents would love to say, hey, I had to travel to school, I had to do this, I was the top of my class. And one thing I'll say, not every parent could be at the top of their class. You have to be honest about the failures you made in life, because your child needs to learn from those failures as well. Because at the end of the day, maybe you were third in your class and maybe you had to work harder. Tell the truth, So I think it's important for us to allow our children to be informed, but then also make them mistakes, because unless you make them mistakes at early ages, in your formative years, in your early 20s, if you don't make those mistakes, then you will make the mistakes later on in life. It's only inevitable. So we have to allow our children to be open-minded in regards to the decisions that they make, because the repercussions of those decisions they'll come back to us and they'll say, you know what, Mom, I didn't actually like that. That's fine. What did you learn from it? Okay, we'll go this way. But from that decision that they made, they're more likely to make the right decision rather than going a path and continue. Like Ian made a very good point about continuing with something simply because you want to appease your parents, going into career, staying in a job, going into academia because you want to appease the community and you want to make sure that the status of your family is kept. But then I really believe passion is correlation with success in regards to what
Absolutely.
you do. Because if you're passionate about something,
yeah,
the trajectory of success is ridiculous compared to just because I'm doing it because of status, So in enabling your kids to have a passion for something and finding that passion, I think is a very a focus that we should have as a community, because when they find that passion and you enable them to have the right, open the right doors for them, go to the right places for that, you set them off on the right path, and you have to be open-minded in these things. Go to those auditions for whatever. If they want to do film, they might look say, hey, this is going to be a hard one. And success is a long path for that. But go to those auditions, empower them, because you being there, when they're in their Grammys and say, my mom was there from day one, you'll be proud of them because then you knew that you were there from the beginning for something that they decided to do, not because of something you decided for them to do. So I couldn't say much more than Ian, to be honest with you. I think it's important for us to be open-minded, and even in our ages, in 10 years from now, me and Ian might have sons, and we have to learn how they want to be taught and how they want to be mentored and empowered, because it's different from us. Even the generation after me and Ian are completely different, so we can't have a monolithic approach to everything. We can't be the same way. We can't approach every generation the same way. We have to be flexible, open-minded, because they might teach us something of ourselves as well.
That's true.
I can't add anything much more than that. Yeah.
Wow. This is, as we're almost coming to an end, it's getting more interesting. Ian made a comment about the GCSEs, and he said, the A levels, he said, people should not underrate that is a very, very challenging aspect of a young person's life and one of the most difficult areas, But there's a comment from one of the viewers, Nancy says, I think between that time when they're doing their GCSEs and when they're doing their A levels, that challenging time, that is where you men, especially you men, need a lot of mentorship to bridge that gap, because that is where you feel that the parents tend to interfere so much, and they're not doing it with the wrong motive. Is because if we do not have enough mentors, then your parents tends to be the only mentor you have. And if all I know is being a teacher or being a doctor or a nurse or, an engineer, that's the only thing I know. I think that is the bit where I asked right from the beginning, and one of you said, I think it's Sam who said, we do not have enough mentors. And that is why that area now there, where you are moving that gap. You find that if there aren't enough mentors, obviously the child, or you young people, all you will see is your mom or your dad or your parents. And so later on in life, you tend to think, oh, they were interfering too much. They didn't give me that freedom. I didn't have the liberty to choose. I didn't have that I wasn't given. I've got an open mind. I've got everything I did was more guided. It was more closed. So we still go back to where we said enough mentors. We do not have enough mentors for our young people. And so there's an area that needs, because you cannot say your only mentor is your mom or your dad. I think that open mind, that exposure, thinking outside the box is very, very important if we are to change, if we are to have more of you going out. Oh God, where does my time go? Parting shots for you, because I think we need more. This is very, very important that you have more of these talks. I'm sure, if we get more of these talks, we are helping not just the parents, you're also helping the young people, those who are behind you, those who are with you. And I like a point that Ian came up with. Ian thinks jumping straight to union, we are not encouraging these parents. It's up to you. This is where you need mentors. This is where you need careers advice. It's not very, very advisable. degrees could be achieved anytime. I shared with you young people that last year, I'm in my 50s, I did my master's and I passed with a distinction. I'm graduating on the 10th of September. So it's never too late. It's never too late. I did that now. I could have done that long time ago, but I thought I needed a bit of law to enhance my political line, and I did it. So I want to concur with what Ian said, there's still time, and the best time is when you yourself, you are deciding that this is the line I want to follow. Do you have anybody who has anything else? Jehogeshini says, here's a question. Can I ask, when you say you need mentorship, what shape and form do you think this should take? Ian, he has teenagers. Ian, you said that question goes to the both of you, but specifically, Ian, you said we need enough mentorship. What shape and form do you think? Because he's got teenagers, that's why he's asking that.
A mentor doesn't even necessarily have to be somebody that is always catching up with you, always. Even an uncle can be a mentor.
Yeah.
Because your uncles, your aunties, those are people that you can have conversations with that you can't have, not necessarily some people, but there's some things that you can laugh and joke about with your uncles and aunties that you can't joke about with your mum and dad. So I always say aunties and uncles can be mentors. Mentors are just somebody that around that can understand you. There just has to be somebody that can understand you. Like when I was growing up, I had a lot of uncles. I had a lot of uncles that were just maybe 10, 15 years older than me. And I saw them as mentors because they can understand me more than they're sensible because they're older than me, but they can understand.
They're more sensible than you.
Yeah, they're more sensible than me because they won't let me get away with a lot of rubbish, but they're not as old-fashioned as my parents. They're below me, so they can.
I hope mommy is listening and that
so they can understand me in a way that my parents can't. I don't know about nowadays. There's not as many youth clubs and
that's another thing.
There's not as many youth clubs and like after school clubs as there used to be, where people can actually spend time and develop your skills and like actually meet people and interact. There's not as much as those nowadays, but like things like getting into a club, like a football club, just so your social skills, you can meet somebody there. You can make, people I used to play football with when I was 10, 11, I still speak to up to the day, friends for life, drama, paint. There's so many different things. You can meet people in life, just exposure, just expose as much as possible until you can find some sooner than later. When you're younger, it's easier for you to absorb. The younger you are, the easier for you to absorb skills and the easier for you to meet and speak to people. So the younger you are, the more you meet people, the more you interact with people, the more likely you are to find exactly maybe somebody that can help you or exactly what you want to do. So I think it's just about getting out there and doing as much as possible.
Sam, do you have anything to add about that mentorship? One of the parents did ask.
Yeah, I think the earliest you can do, the better. Definitely. I think Ian spoke when he's speaking about exposure, when you go to clubs and doing these things, and of course there's no youth clubs anymore, but removing the idleness and making sure they're doing something outside of school, making sure they have an activity outside of school, that they enjoy, or do something, or go to something that they enjoy with friends, youth ministry, whatever. Through those things, through them meeting older people, these relationships are formed with people, and you will see these are naturally inclined. But if you haven't got that, to the parent I was asking, I think having a discussion with your teenagers and asking them specifically what about them, understand them as an individual, because I really believe you might have someone in your own contact book that would facilitate the things that your young person's asking for.
That's true.
So by asking those questions for your young person, I really believe parents need to ask more questions in a positive light to their children, not assuming things about the children. So I do believe you asking these questions, sitting down with them, being open-minded, saying, son, what do you want to do? And not having an expectation for them to have an answer. Explore it with them. Your contact book might be there, or a friend of a friend might be there, and go from there. But I do believe that the answer is closer than you think. A lot of parents have something available to them for this. So.
Thank you. And you did say, actually, I remember something you mentioned, Sam, in the beginning. You said that's for you because you go to church, you engage yourself in so many things. Do you think, I find that we do not have many of our young people, especially your age, they cut off that relationship. They go to the houses of prayer and worship when they're younger, but later on at your age, because you're still not 30, both of you, I mean, they cut off. What is there that we as a Kenyan community don't do that you people would love to see us doing? Do you want us to get more activities as Kenyan based or even churches, events? Is there anything that's lacking? I'll ask that first to Sam as we finish.
Well, in recent years, there was a family friend invited me to their church, and I'm so annoyed I've forgotten the name. But what I saw within that church is a Kenyan community church, and one of my very good friends, Johnny, he was in that church, and that church empowered the young people to have responsibility within the church. So if they're musically inclined, they were musicians. If they could sing, they were worship leaders. If they could do, but not. So it was organic. It wasn't like because you're here, you're going to do something. It was more, what do you want to do, and try it out. And from that, these young men have their own ministry because it's been organic from that. You know, they have their own ministry on a Friday, and I think I would ask Ronnie if he's still in the chat, you can put it in the comments. And these are young Kenyan men who are doing their own ministry, not off their parents' volition or saying you should do that because they love God, you know. So, and I think that was empowered to them from a young age to say, be involved in the decision, be involved in choosing what we will speak about on a Sunday, be involved in choosing what we're going to sing. And Ian spoke about earlier, when you involve your young men in decisions, they're more empowered to be a part of this decision and do their own thing after. So I think it's available. I think we just have to have more exposure for these things. So I'll put it in the chat for definite. This young ministry for Kenyan men. No, sorry, led by Kenyan men. It's for young people in general, but there's a lot of your Kenyan men who are leading it, and yeah, they're doing a great thing. So.
Oh, excellent, excellent. And I can see Jehogeshini says, thanks, Ian and Sam. A really different approach to mentorship. Great to hear from you. Yes, and Pastor Lois is in Joroge. I can I still encourage people to share, please? I know people are coming from work, coming from other events, and I know there are others who will be watching after this. We're just coming to the end of our program, which has been very, very informative, very insightful. Even I, as a parent, there's a lot I've learned from these two. As a parent to teenagers, to young men, I know there's a lot that I'm learning, and yet more to learn from you. And those people who are younger parents, at least they are better equipped now. They have had this firsthand from these people. George Kenyatta said, well done from the two of you. Well done for opening up. Well done for sharing. I still keep saying part in short. Because more questions keep coming. Now, definitely this has got to be a parting shot. I'll start with, oh yes, Nancy says, may God continue to bless both of you, Samson and Ian, as you become future mentors and as you continue with your, one thing that I forgot, leadership. Leadership. Do you think we as Kenyans, now don't say, broadly black or we as Kenyans, are we doing enough to get you into positions of leadership? Before we forget, I can't forget that because I'm in leadership. Ian?
I don't think so, to be honest. I don't think so. I don't think enough young Kenyans are pushed to the forefront to showcase like what they can do. I know so many young Kenyans that are more than capable of leading and being extraordinary leaders, but as we were saying earlier, I think we still have to overcome that issue of you're too young. You're too young, like it's not your time, you're too young, you're not old enough to hold this power, or I don't know what the issue is, but I'm telling you, if young Kenyans were given the opportunity to just given the mantle, like this, handle this, this is you can do it, I'm telling you, we'd see a different approach. But at the moment, I don't think so. It's not enough.
Wow, some leadership.
Yeah. I will honor the ones who are doing it, like yourself and the ones in the community, like Chairman Lucas. You're doing amazing things to empower the young people who want to go into politics and want to go into leadership positions. But I definitely believe the exposure is not there. The willingness to, if we look at our own country, and I love our country, but if we look at the leadership age, the average age of leadership, I think that says enough. I think that says enough. So I think we should pull down the reins and believe more in the young men and believe more that they have more to offer. Because if we're really bothered about this boy-child terminology, this phrase of men are not becoming mature, I think it's important to acknowledge that maybe we need to let them be, just try, because that mature, if you give them the accountability to make the choice and these important decisions, maybe they'll mature quicker if you're really honest with yourself. So yeah, I definitely think there's a lot more that can be done from home and even here. Yeah.
Not enough is being done. I take the challenge. I'm there also. I'm here. I'm willing to mentor, like I said, but you also need to come out, please. Let's continue with this dialogue, because I believe there is more that we can do, and it has to start from you. Now that you people, young men, have come up with this, I think it has to start from somewhere. And because you are here, I can see also Angel is watching. Well done, Angel. There's been a lot of talk of what you did, and Chantel, you did very well. So you people, it has to start from you. And if it is not you, then who? So take the challenge from me and know that personally, I mean, I pushed myself into doing some of the things I did. When I became councillor, no other Kenyan had been. When I became mayor, I wanted to. And so please, I think also you need to come out. You need to push yourselves further. You need to show kids. You need to show us what you can do. Because maybe it's because of a few failures and people have doubted. But I think it's about time. I always tell people I don't believe in saying the leaders of tomorrow. You are the leaders of today. You're of age now. I became a head teacher at the age of 24, really young in Kenya. Can you believe that? Younger than the two of you. And all the heads under me were all older than me. And it was a school with over 1,000 kids. I showcased, I knew. This lady came and told me, I can see you can do something. I can see you've got what it takes. So if you keep yourself hidden, hiding your talents under the carpet, no one you ever get to know. And so you need to expose yourselves. You need to showcase. You need to show what you're made of. So for those of you who are joining us, we've come to the end of our program, which has been Beacon of Hope. Very, very insightful with our two young men. I don't know whether they want to thank anybody in particular as we wind up. Sam, do you have anybody to thank as we come to the end?
Yes, first of all, honor my mom, my son. I honor her, and thank her. I honor my community as well, SEKK community. Chairman Lucas for putting us in contact as well, for giving me this opportunity, and yourself. Thank you so much for allowing this platform. You're doing so much for the diaspora to allow these conversations, this dialogue to happen. So I thank you, and I thank all the people that are tuning in, even if you're not watching now and you're watching after today's broadcasting. Thank you for taking the time to actually listen to us and hear what we've got to say. So thank you.
Thank you. Ian, anybody to thank?
I'll thank you most importantly, Councillor, for the opportunity to speak. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with Samson here, and also for everybody else watching. If you're watching now or in the future, Councillor, I think you'll put our social media handles. So if anybody needs any contact or help, you can just message us. We're more than free to speak to anyone. I think, thank you. Thank you.
Well, viewers, we're so proud of you. And once again, I can really say now that they have finished, I didn't want to say that I'm really very, very proud of these two young men, because not many young men are willing to come out in the open and talk. This has been a hard talk, really hard talk. not many of your age would be willing to do this. And so I wish to thank you both, thank your parents too, thank the mentors, people like Lucas, Ian, I know your dad has been there, and a few other people, your mom also, and all your friends. And can I say that we are planning a big meeting where we can have young people come and discuss, and trust me, you are going to be part of the that team. And I'm not going to plan it myself. I'll look for a venue, but I would include you, Mambo Zuri, and all the others planning for that. Just a day when Kenyan young people, both boys and girls, can meet, come and have a candid talk about where we are heading, where we are taking the next generation, because I believe your time is now. It's not tomorrow. I've seen a very beautiful comment by Pastor Lois, who said, Lois Joroge, who said, this is very ripe for the young people to take their position in leadership. You see, people know that this is the time for you. And that's a pastor who's saying that. So trust me that this is your time. So thank you ever so much for making my program the way it is, and for really opening up. May the Lord bless you. And Ian keeps going in the dark. Have you had a blackout?
No, I didn't want to get up and turn my light on now.
I know it's getting dark now. It's also getting dark, but I had my lights on. So once again, thank you ever so much. And I'm going to invite you again. For the viewers, thank you for those who tuned in. Thank you for those who will be watching after this. And I can tell you, this is Beacon of Hope, where we are raising leaders, where we've got all this. We inspire, we motivate, we empower. And that is exactly what we are doing. And I like a comment where my son, Sam, said, exposure, empower, and elevate. Yes, we are going to do exactly that by the grace of God. Thank you, Pastor Jane Carrier, all the way in Kenya. God bless you. We love you. I know you're enjoying the nice weather. Oh, it's cold now. So for everybody, enjoy your day. And for those of you who are near Barking and Dagenham, this weekend, we've got a treat for you. Paslos Park, I'll have to show off because that's part of my park. There's a big function taking place already. The whole park is sealed. There's lots of activities. Come in and enjoy a gig. There'll be so many famous musicians performing, lots of events happening at Paslos Park. On Saturday, tomorrow, the whole day up to 9:30, and then on Sunday. So please do not miss out. So once again, Beacon of Hope, I'm really happy to have had these two young men, and I'm sure to have them back. You take care. God bless you. And before you leave, also don't forget to invest. I'm just about to talk about our sponsors, who are actually the Almond Estate Company, and they've got properties, they've got land, and you people should set the pace, buy properties. So before you leave, I'm going to talk about that, and then maybe you can encourage other people. And the people I'm talking about is none other than Almond Estate Company Limited. Almond Estate Company Limited. What do they have? They've got bungalows. I say that is my best. I love this. I love this because, the bungalows. Look, it's 3-bedroom, and 2 of them are in suite, gated community and perimeter wall. In that, you've got your own compound. The rooms are spacious. I'm going to bring a video showing all the rooms, and they're well lit. There is enough light, adequate water supply. So in terms of hygiene, there is enough water. And then there is tarmac. They're touching the tarmac 24/7 manned with CCTV, all these things that we need. We feel that, is there tarmac? Is there, Then we've got Armored. Look at that. They're doing so well. This is Kitsuru, phase 2. This is near Kivishiku, about a few minutes drive from the CBD, 15 kilometers from the CBD. It comprises of a studio flat for as little as 1.8 M. I'm sure you guys can do that, and you don't have to pay cash. You can pay that in installments. With as little as 1.8, you can get yourself a studio flat. You can get yourself a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and you get in touch with Almond Estate Company Limited. These places have got spacious rooms because that is important. Ample parking. There's an elevator, so you don't have to struggle going up. And there is security. There's CCTV surveillance. With as little as 1.8 M, you become a homeowner in very near the CBD. What more? It gets even better. And now also for those of us who like land, especially the older people, my generation, look, they've got Almond, they've got Ada Gardens, an 8-acre plot, which you can get at the price of Kenya shillings 750,000. That is, and if you pay cash, there's a discount. So these 8-acre plots, they are in Isinya, which is about 17 kilometers from Kitengera, and they are available electricity on site, which is very good. It also means you can just go and put up your house and then that's it. They've got community area, they've got a borehole, there's water there. There is a chain link fence, there is estate manned gate, there is internal maram in between, and once you purchase that, you become a part and parcel of the management. So you become a community where you decide what happens. Now, to get all these, Almond Estate Company Limited, get in touch, +254 733 874 080, +254 733 874 080. And if you want further details, please get in touch with me. I will connect you with those people. And because people in diaspora fear so much, you can get somebody on the ground to do all your due diligence for you to go and check whether this is real, whether these properties, whether this land is there before you invest. But let us invest back home. There's a lot that is happening. And you've heard from these young men that at the end of the day, what did they say? At the end of the day,
home is home.
At the end of the day, they think they want to go back to Kenya. So, young men, what do you think of that investment?
Brilliant.
Sam, you are mute.
Amazing opportunity. Honestly.
Brilliant.
I think investing back home is the future. Honestly, it is.
There we go.
I'll definitely get involved, actually.
And I wouldn't be advertising something that I think is a bit shoddy. I've met with these people. I've met with the investors and I know what they're doing. And like I said again, because you've got family back home, ask them to go and do this check for you. You can even visit their website. If you Google Almond Estate Company Limited, everything now is not, you can just get everything online. So guys, I think this is your chance also to invest. Invest back home. Encourage your mates also to invest. What else? Because when you go home, you pay a lot of money to go in a hotel. Some of you don't want to go all the way to Gishagi. You would like somewhere in Nairobi. And when you are away, that can be earning you money. Mm-hmm. When you're still here, you can rent it out, make it a holiday place. So think about that. And if you want further details, once again, +254 733 874 and 080, and you can check on their website. You can get in touch with these people, Almond Estate Company Limited. And if you want further details, get in touch with me. I have known them. Yes, home is home. Nancy Wagige, yes, home is home. So, brilliant topic. We're coming back. Thank you guys. Enjoy your weekend. I'm so proud of you. Sam, say hi to Mom Sam. Thank you for bringing up such a young, brilliant young man. I think I knew Sam when he was very, very little. Ian, thank Mom and Dad for bringing up such a lovely young man who is open-minded, who is ready to chat and advise others. And don't forget, when we organize that big event, you're part of the speakers.
We'll be there.
Really become role model for them.
Thank you, Mom.
God bless you. God bless you. Do you good. Until next time, take care.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you. So, guys, this has been Beacon of Hope once again. And tonight it was super good. I've just enjoyed those boys. They were brilliant. I've enjoyed the talks with these young men. And, let's continue supporting our young men. That dialogue. They've challenged me, and I take the word dialogue. It's very, very important to talk. So once again, thank you ever so much, Beacon of Hope. Let's meet again tomorrow on the family program with Bishop BK. But this has been Councillor Elizabeth Kangede, Mrs. Bishop BK, once again with Beacon of Hope, signing off from London Borough of Barking and Dagenham. Shalom. God bless you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.